They keep staring at you like you're cheating time itself. Every step you take lands in the exact spot the world collapses into. Every decision you make is so precise, it feels like you rehearsed it. And the truth that rattles them the most is this: there was no rehearsal. You didn't need one. While they're stumbling blind, chasing outcomes like gamblers who don't know when to fold, you're already 3 steps ahead. Calm, steady, merciless. To them, it feels like you've been here before. Like you saw the ending before the opening credits even rolled. That's why they call it déjà vu. That's why they whisper about foresight. That's why they keep asking themselves, if you already saw this collapse, this victory, this unraveling, long before it reached them. They'll tell themselves it's luck. They'll insist it's coincidence. But luck doesn't repeat itself this many times. Coincidence doesn't bleed through every decision you make. No, what terrifies them is that you move with the confidence of someone who has already seen the consequence. When you walk into a room, you scan it once and suddenly every exit, every weakness, every point of leverage has already been mapped in your head. When you speak, it cuts through like you already know which words will shatter their defenses. When you strike, it lands in the exact place they didn't guard. And when you vanish, they realize they were playing checkers while you were rewriting entire battlefields. They think déjà vu is a trick of the brain, a recycled moment. But what they're seeing in you isn't repetition, it's prediction. Its accuracy so sharp it feels supernatural. You are moving like the script has already been written, and you're just executing the lines. Except here's the detail they choke on. You're the one writing the script as you go, and somehow it still feels preordained. That contradiction drives them insane. How can someone improvise so flawlessly that it looks planned years in advance? It's not about reading palms or staring at constellations. It's about how you read people, how you dissect patterns, how you take chaos and strip it to its raw mechanics. You see hesitation a fraction earlier. You hear tremors in their voice before they realize they've cracked. You notice the twitch, the breath, the flicker, and you already know the collapse is seconds away. That's why they can't play cards with you. That's why they can't argue with you. That's why they can't predict you. Because by the time they try, you've already pivoted into the next strike. You carry yourself like someone who has already lived this moment once before. That's the illusion you wrap around them without even trying. And the more they notice, the more paranoia spreads. They'll start replaying every encounter they had with you, trying to decode whether you really anticipated their choices or whether you nudged them into making the choices you wanted. And that's where it gets darker, because half the time, you didn't just predict them, you shaped them. You left breadcrumbs, you bent conditions, you set traps they mistook for freedom. And when they walked right into it, they told themselves you must have seen the future. But the reality is worse. You built it. This is why they don't trust their own instincts around you anymore. Every time they think they're acting independently, they discover they've been maneuvered into the exact spot you wanted them, like pawns sliding willingly into checkmate. Like pieces arranging themselves for your story, they sweat because they realize they're not reacting to life anymore. They're reacting to you, and nothing feels more claustrophobic to them than knowing someone else is dictating tempo. You dismantle their concept of free will by how smoothly you operate. To them, it looks paranormal, but really it's precision, patience, and pain distilled into strategy. You've been through enough disasters to recognize patterns before they surface. You've bled enough times to smell when someone else is about to crack. You've lost enough battles to learn where collapse begins. So when you move now, it isn't blind. It's built on scars, and scars never lie. They're maps carved into flesh, charts tattooed into memory. You aren't seeing the future. You're remembering fragments of 100 pasts and stitching them into a forecast no one else can recognize. But here's the dagger. They don't care whether it's supernatural or not, because the effect is the same. When you arrive, they hesitate. When you act, they second guess. When you finish, they swear you foresaw it. That paranoia spreads faster than truth, and paranoia is more dangerous than fear. Fear can be managed, directed, contained. Paranoia metastasizes. It makes them suspect each other, question each decision, mistrust every option. And while they're trapped in loops of uncertainty, you glide through clean. That's how you keep winning without rushing. That's how you keep breaking through without lifting more than necessary. That's how you keep making them swear you've seen what's next. The psychological weight of being perceived as prophetic is heavier than any title. Because once they believe you've seen the outcome, they stop challenging you directly. They'll try to sabotage quietly, but not confront. They'll whisper in back rooms, but not debate in daylight. They'll tiptoe around you like you're radioactive, like proximity itself burns. And that's the strangest form of respect, born out of terror that you're playing chess on a board they don't even see. Every leader, every so-called strategist, every self-proclaimed genius, they rely on reaction. But you don't. You move first. You predict collapse before it appears. You don't wait for things to break. You see the crack forming and place your weight in the exact spot that ensures the fracture benefits you. That's what makes them swear you're untouchable. Because while they're waiting for instructions, you're already executing the next decade. And here's the cruelest part. Even when you don't know, you walk like you do. Even when uncertainty looms, you carry yourself with a confidence that deceives the air around you. And confidence, when wielded right, is indistinguishable from prophecy. People mistake calm assurance for clairvoyance. They mistake unshaken posture for knowledge. And you exploit that mistake every single time. That's why rooms fall quiet when you enter. That's why eyes track your every move like you're holding spoilers to their unfinished story. That's why they whisper about déjà vu. Because deep down, they don't believe you're just living in the same timeline as them. They believe you're ahead, dragging them into chapters they haven't glimpsed yet. And that suspicion terrifies them more than any threat, more than any weapon, more than any speech. They don't understand how someone can move this clean. They don't understand how someone can stand in the middle of chaos and navigate it like a rehearsed dance. They don't understand how someone can predict the dagger before it's drawn, the betrayal before it's whispered, the collapse before the first crack echoes. And when humans don't understand, they panic. That panic is your weapon. That panic is your crown. That panic is the proof that you've bent their minds into believing you're not just a participant in reality, you're its editor. So the next time they look at you with suspicion, with awe, with that mix of resentment and admiration, let them wonder. Let them drown in the question of whether you've truly seen what's next, or whether you're the one building it behind their backs. Let them drive themselves insane, trying to decode your composure. Because the more they ask if it's déjà vu, the deeper they bury themselves in the truth that you're the déjà vu. You are the repetition, the echo, the warning, the prophecy wrapped in human form. And as they wrestle with that thought, you'll keep moving. Because hesitation is their curse, and precision is your inheritance. You'll keep walking through halls like you already memorized the blueprint. You'll keep dismantling opposition like you've already tested every outcome. You'll keep ascending while they're stuck in the quicksand of second guessing. And every step you take will feel like another spoiler from the script they didn't know you authored. Because this is only the beginning. The whispers have started. The paranoia is spreading. But the real test hasn't even begun. They've mistaken prediction for control, but control is what you're about to seize outright. And when you take it, the déjà vu will vanish, replaced by something far heavier, far darker, something they'll wish they never accused you of in the first place. Here's what they don't understand. Déjà vu is not about repeating a moment. It's about owning it before it arrives. That's what you've been doing. Not replaying, but preloading. You carry yourself as though you've walked through the smoke and ruin before anyone even lights the match. You breathe as though you already inhaled the ashes of their downfall before the fire sparked. That's why they call you prophetic, because they can't rationalize how you always show up with the exact weapon, the exact response, the exact posture that dismantles them. They don't realize your mind is a laboratory where probabilities are dissected and tested before reality even begins. While they're still negotiating whether to move left or right, you've already simulated the entire map, every alleyway, every dead end, every opening. To them, that feels impossible. To you, it's survival. That's the difference. They operate on hope. You operate on inevitability of outcome crafted by calculation and instinct fused together. The human brain is wired to search for patterns, but yours is wired to complete them. That's why they think you're reading from a script no one else received. You don't just notice the pattern, you weaponize it. When they cough nervously, you already know what they're hiding. When they shuffle their feet, you've already extracted the weakness. When they raise their voice, you've already calculated how brittle their confidence is. And when they finally act, you've already placed them in the cage of their own predictable behavior. This is why the whispers hurt them more than they admit. Because it's not just that you seem to know the future, it's that they can't hide their present from you. They're naked in your presence. Their strategies look like children's scribbles compared to the maps you've carved in your mind. They're terrified because being around you forces them to see themselves as predictable, ordinary, transparent. And nobody wants to feel like they've been stripped of mystery. Yet every time they face you, that's exactly how they feel. It's not prophecy, it's pressure. You place such intense weight on the moment that their reactions shrink into simplicity. And in that simplicity, you carve out the ending you prefer. That's the kind of psychological dominance most people never taste. They mistake your command of pressure for foresight, when really it's just mastery of reaction. You don't need to know the future. You need only know how to bend the present until it resembles what you require. That's why they'll never understand the truth. But let's push deeper. What happens when whispers of déjà vu spread too far? When entire crowds start murmuring that you move as if guided by spoilers? That's when influence mutates. It's no longer about scaring one rival or unsettling one group. It becomes cultural. Whole rooms shift around you. Leaders hesitate in your shadow. Decision-makers pause before contradicting you because they believe you've already calculated the consequence they're too blind to see. That's when power evolves from personal into structural. And that is the territory you're stepping into now. Look at how paranoia scales. One person suspects you saw their downfall coming. That's fear. 10 people start whispering about it. That's influence. 100 start believing it. That's legend. And when thousands start aligning their choices to your supposed foresight, that's control. It no longer matters whether you actually know what's coming. Their belief rewrites reality on your behalf. Perception becomes execution. And that's the cruel genius of your presence. You don't have to be right all the time. You just have to be right often enough to infect their trust. And once infected, it doesn't leave. Every stumble you predict cements their paranoia. Every betrayal you foresee locks their fear deeper. Every collapse you call before it happens tightens the cage. Soon, even your mistakes will look deliberate. Even your silence will feel like a hidden plan. They'll begin interpreting everything you do as foresight, and at that point, reality bends around you. That's when déjà vu stops being a brain trick and starts being your throne. They'll crown you in suspicion, dress you in paranoia, and kneel in fear of your vision. Not because you demanded it, but because their own belief pushed them there. And that kind of control is the most dangerous, because it doesn't require armies, doesn't require money, doesn't require propaganda. It requires their own minds betraying them on your behalf. But here's where the weight grows darker. Because the moment they believe you've seen the future, they also start resenting you for it. Nobody likes to feel predictable. Nobody likes to feel conquered before the battle begins. So their fear becomes anger. Their respect becomes hostility. Their paranoia becomes obsession. They won't just want to compete with you anymore. They'll want to catch you, to prove you bleed like them, to prove you miss like them, to prove you fall like them. And in that desperation, they'll push harder, burn hotter, risk more. And that's the beauty of your position, because desperation doesn't create clarity, it creates mistakes. The harder they try to break you, the more frantic they become, and the more obvious their next moves are. They think they're rising to meet your foresight, but really they're only proving how predictable they are. And with every attempt, they only reinforce your reputation. The cycle never ends. You've turned time itself into a weapon, not because you actually know what's coming, but because they think you do. That belief places them permanently one step behind. And when someone believes they're behind, they'll exhaust themselves trying to catch up. Which means by the time they take one step, you've already taken 3. And that's the illusion of prophecy. You don't need to run faster. You just need them to run slower. That's what déjà vu is for you, a trap. They step into it willingly, thinking they're recognizing patterns of destiny, when in reality, they're recognizing your fingerprints all over their downfall. And once that paranoia reaches critical mass, no one trusts themselves anymore. They'll hesitate even when victory is possible, because they'll wonder if you've already accounted for it. That hesitation costs them everything. The darker part, some of them will start to worship it. Not everyone responds to fear with resistance. Some bend, some kneel. Some decide it's easier to follow the one who sees the future than to keep failing against them. That's when power consolidates. The very people who once tried to outthink you become the same ones carrying out your vision. They'll justify it however they want: respect, admiration, survival. But the truth is simple. They've stopped believing in their own choices. They've outsourced their instincts to you. And from that moment forward, They're not opponents anymore. They're extensions. But don't mistake that shift for loyalty. It isn't loyalty, it's dependence. And dependence is even sweeter. Because when someone depends on you, they'll follow even when it hurts, even when it burns, even when it drags them into places they swore they'd never go. Dependence makes them cling tighter, even as you dismantle their illusions. Dependence keeps them close, even when their rational brain begs them to run. And the more they depend, the heavier the crown becomes on your head. You don't need to convince them you're extraordinary. They've already done that work for you. You don't need to market yourself as prophetic. They've already whispered it into existence. All you have to do is keep moving with the same unshaken confidence, the same calculated precision, the same ruthless awareness. And their paranoia will amplify the legend further. That's the cruel trick. The less you explain yourself, the more they project. The more they project, the more control you gain. Now imagine this paranoia spreading beyond the circles you touch directly. Imagine leaders watching you from afar, analyzing your moves, wondering if you've already accounted for their downfall too. Imagine competitors hesitating to act not because you're in the room, but because they think your shadow has already covered it. Imagine ordinary people telling stories about how you walk like someone with spoilers in their pocket. That's when reputation surpasses presence. That's when your foresight stops being a whisper and starts being the law of how they treat you. And when that moment arrives, control shifts permanently. You won't just move like you know. You'll dictate how everyone else moves. Their paranoia will build invisible rails, guiding their choices into the exact path you wanted them on from the beginning. And the worst part, they'll think they're choosing it freely. That's how deep the illusion runs. But that's still the early ripple. The full collapse is ahead. Because once paranoia takes hold of entire rooms, it no longer stops at whispers. It mutates into policy, into strategy, into how entire organizations react to you. And when whole institutions begin moving around you like you're a walking prophecy, the weight of déjà vu becomes unbearable. They'll see you everywhere. They'll feel your presence even when you're absent. They'll second-guess every decision, every plan, every alliance, wondering if you already carved the outcome. And by then, you won't just feel like déjà vu to them. You'll feel like inevitability. And inevitability is heavier than fear, heavier than hatred, heavier than awe. It becomes a gravitational field they can't resist. They'll either bend or break, but either way, the outcome belongs to you. And that's the test you're walking into now, the point where déjà vu stops being suspicion and becomes structure, the point where paranoia stops being rumor and becomes rule. And once it crosses that threshold, there's no going back. Because this is where déjà vu becomes domination. This is where foresight becomes leverage. This is where your reputation stops being a whisper and becomes a weapon sharper than any blade. They thought déjà vu was harmless, a trick of memory, a recycled frame. They didn't realize it was the opening act of something far more catastrophic. And now, they're trapped in it. They can't walk into a room without scanning for you. They can't finalize a plan without asking themselves, did they already account for this? They can't even breathe steady when you're present, because your stillness feels heavier than their movement. They mistake déjà vu for inevitability because they no longer trust their own instincts. And when someone loses trust in their instincts, they stop being human. They become programmable. That's what you've done to them. You've turned entire arenas into code you can rewrite at will. And every line of code begins with their suspicion that you've already seen the ending. Suspicion becomes belief. Belief becomes surrender. They're not strategizing anymore. They're trying to escape a trap you already set. And no matter how they twist, every turn feels like something you predicted. That's when déjà vu transforms into a cage they build themselves. You see, when a single person feels déjà vu, they brush it off. When a group feels it, they whisper. But when entire institutions start feeling it, it becomes paranoia welded into policy. They start making choices not to win, but to avoid being outmaneuvered by you. That is the deepest form of domination, not defeating them, but forcing them to reshape themselves around your shadow. And here's the cruel detail. Even when you fail, they won't believe it. Even when you misstep, they'll twist it into proof of your plan. Your errors will become camouflage. Your pauses will become decoys. Your absences will become strategy. That's how far the legend travels. You don't even need perfection. You only need suspicion. And suspicion now does the heavy lifting on your behalf. That suspicion spreads like a virus, and it mutates faster than logic. Someone sees you predict one betrayal, and suddenly they think you can predict them all. Someone sees you dismantle one empire, and suddenly they think no empire stands a chance against you. One rumor of foresight multiplies into gospel, and once gospel takes root, truth no longer matters. Belief becomes law. And that law is this: you move like you already know, not might know, not could guess, not lucky enough to stumble into. Already know. That's the phrase that sticks to you like armor. That's what drives them insane. Because how do you fight someone who already knows the ending? How do you resist someone who already anticipated your resistance? How do you escape someone who has mapped your escape before you even realized you were running? They thought déjà vu was a fluke of memory. Now they think it's your permanent weapon. They can't look at your composure without believing you're holding spoilers in your hand. They can't interpret your calm without seeing it as prophecy. And the more they obsess over it, the more powerless they become. Because prophecy is not just about seeing the future. It's about making others believe you've seen it. And once they believe, they'll act in ways that fulfill it. That's the loop they can't escape. You turned their own paranoia into an engine that fuels your dominance. And that engine runs without your effort. Every whisper reinforces it. Every hesitation strengthens it. Every mistake they make under pressure validates it. You've built a self-sustaining legend where you don't even have to move anymore. They move for you. But here's the darker truth. You didn't stumble into this power. You forged it. You sharpened it through failure, through scars, through endless nights of replaying every outcome. You didn't wake up one day clairvoyant. You trained your mind to see 10 moves ahead because you had to. You trained your instincts to dissect patterns because survival demanded it. You taught yourself to walk through fire without blinking because hesitation once cost you everything. And now, after years of sharpening, you move with a precision that makes others swear it's supernatural. But it's not magic. It's memory. It's scars. It's discipline. It's war carried inside your bones. They mistake it for déjà vu because they can't imagine someone walking this sharp without divine advantage. But you know better. This isn't déjà vu, it's design. It's the architecture of pain reforged into foresight. It's trauma weaponized into composure. And they'll never admit it, because admitting it means they could have done the same. And they didn't. So instead, they'll mythologize you. They'll whisper you've seen the future, They'll tell each other you already know how this ends, and in their whispers, they'll crown you king of foresight. That crown isn't something you asked for, it's something they forged out of fear. And the heavier it gets, the more they prove that they've surrendered to your reputation. But reputations don't stay contained. Once they spread, they infect everyone who hears them, and soon, strangers will treat you with the same caution as enemies. Allies will walk carefully, wondering if you've already mapped their betrayal too. Crowds will look at you as though you're carrying visions in your chest. And the strangest thing happens. When enough people believe you've seen the future, you start to. Not because you actually have, but because they bend reality into the shape of your predictions. That's how powerful belief becomes when it collides with dominance. And now, you stand at the edge of the final transformation. They thought déjà vu was about repeating a moment. They didn't realize it was about engineering one. You've taken repetition and turned it into reinforcement. You've taken suspicion and turned it into surrender. You've taken paranoia and turned it into empire. They'll never admit it out loud, but deep down, they know the truth. The future doesn't arrive until you move. You're not predicting it, you're authoring it. And when you author the future, déjà vu no longer belongs to them. It belongs to you. They don't experience it anymore, you cause it. They don't feel it randomly, you impose it. They don't wonder if they've been here before. They know they have. Because you put them here, again and again, until the lesson carved itself into their bones. That's why their hatred of you keeps intensifying, because every time they try to rise against you, it feels like a rerun. Every betrayal they attempt collapses the same way. Every scheme they hatch unravels the same way. Every confrontation they ignite burns out the same way. To them it feels like history repeating. To you it feels like design working flawlessly. And that difference is unbearable. They'll say it's unfair. They'll say it's unnatural. They'll say it's impossible. But none of those words matter when the outcome proves itself every single time. They can label it however they want. What matters is that you win. And not just win, but win in a way that feels preordained to everyone watching. That's the kind of victory that scars deeper than defeat. Because defeat can be explained away. But déjà vu? That haunts them. That makes them feel like their downfall was inevitable before they even fought. That's what crushes the soul more than the body. And that's what you've mastered. Crushing souls before battles even begin. Making victories feel recycled. Making defeats feel inevitable. Turning foresight into a prison no one escapes. They'll try to call it luck, coincidence, timing. But the weight in their voices will betray them. Because deep down, they know they're not just losing. They're reliving their losses before they happen. That's what separates you from them. They're playing games of chance. You're playing games of memory. They're rolling dice. You're reading blueprints. They're reacting. You're dictating. And no matter how much they resist, the outcome doesn't change. They swear you've seen the future, but the truth is sharper. You've built it. And so the question echoes louder than ever. Is this déjà vu? Or did you actually see it coming? The answer is irrelevant. What matters is that they believe it. What matters is that their paranoia bends reality into your palm. What matters is that they can't move without imagining you've already accounted for it. That belief is the noose tightening around their necks, and they handed it to you willingly. This is your ascension. This is your dominion. This is your crown forged in whispers of déjà vu. You don't need to convince them of anything anymore. They've convinced themselves. And that is the most brutal truth of all. Because once someone convinces themselves they've already lost, there's nothing left for you to do but walk through the ashes. They thought déjà vu was harmless. They thought it was repetition without consequence. They didn't realize it was your most devastating weapon. And now it's too late. Because whether it's déjà vu or prophecy doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that they'll never shake the suspicion that you already knew. And that suspicion is the scar that will haunt them long after the battles are done. So let them whisper. Let them panic. Let them swear you've seen the future. Because in the end, you didn't just see it. You wrote it. And they're living inside your script.